Peace, peace. This is Shango Ray, and we are back. I meant to do this yesterday, but I got caught up in some other things. Did not get to do it. This is an energy reading based on we just had a new moon, and we just had a solar eclipse. So there's a lot going on. You're definitely going to want to, you definitely going to want to peep this one out. I can say that, okay? Before we get started, like, share, subscribe, and thrive. Like, share, subscribe, and thrive. Like, share, subscribe, and thrive. Okay, so after last night's broadcast that I did, which was entitled How to Use the Power of Paradox to Unfuck Yourself, I got about 5 different requests if I can push back the reverse the curse ritual. The doors were due to close today, within maybe 2-3 hours from now of me making this recording. It's about 8 o'clock at night. And so I'm going to do that. So the ritual doors will close Saturday, June 12th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is when they have to close, because I will be doing a lot of work over the weekend in preparation of the ritual, which is June 14th. And in case you didn't know, there is a group ritual recording, but then there's also going to be your own segment where basically you and I are going to be doing an offshoot of the ritual for you. Okay, so when you go to shango-ray.com, and you must follow the instructions as far as when you sign up, because it's structured like that for a reason. It really helps me to be able to organize and get everybody's rituals and things situated. This is really, this is for those who have that soul urging. Okay, this ritual is a tool. All right, it is a tool. We're going to go into this ritual one way and we're going to come out another. That is the point. I'm talking internally. Okay, we must address and we must face the internal first. And this is for all of you who have, whether it's a long, wide circle, comes around every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or whether it's, every couple of months, or hell, maybe even a couple of weeks or something, depending on your situation. But it's called reverse the curse because a lot of us are stuck in our own loops. Okay. And it seems very difficult, if not impossible, to get out of. You want to move forward in your life. You want to move forward in your finances, in your relationships. You got to start inside first. The way out, we must go in. And this ritual, we utilize the influences that are available to us right now, which is these retrogrades, this retrograde energy. We're working with the Orisha Elewa for this ritual, the trickster, the epitome of paradox. We're going to be using the principles of paradox within this ritual. It's basically, we're taking your train off of one track and we're putting it on another. Okay, you are using this ritual, the resources, the energy, and we are all coming together in agreement for this intent. Enough is enough when it comes to being stuck. If you're stuck in a loop, then this is the ritual for you. And I implore you, find your own reasons to join, because the aftermath, the after effects, the cumulative effects from this ritual are nothing short, besides life-changing, DNA changing, and of course, soul evolving. So we're working with the whole trifecta here. So get in while you can still fit in, because the doors will close tomorrow, Saturday, 6 p.m. sharp. And it has to be that way, but I really look forward to serving you as well as working with you, because we must be proactive in our own quote unquote salvation, so keep that in mind. Had to get that out the way. Let's get into this new moon reading. Just a moment. All right. Well, as you can see, for me, the top top row of cards. The numerical value of the top row of cards, and this is the headline for me for this particular reading, is 4. And the second row that you see here, these are some additional information. Okay, these additional cards here are going to snitch on you. All right. So starting at the top, first of all, like I said, numerical value 4. The first thing that came to me about this was comfort zones being removed. This energy right now, we got so much crazy shit going on cosmically. It's only reflecting what's going on internally within a lot of us, especially those of us who are, striving to be active participants in our own, spiritual evolution, in our own ascension, as opposed to just letting life happen to us, which is why I suppose you're here, because you are, proactive in your own way. And yes, sometimes we are more and sometimes we are less, and that's okay, because everything has a rhythm. Nothing stays the same. Everything must change. So the first thing I really felt was about just people getting extracted out of their out of their comfort zones. Now, from what I can see here, I guess I must be talking to some people where these extractions they may seem kind of harsh. And I got to tell you, your higher self will let you, roll around in the muck for a while, but sometimes that foot in the ass will come. And that foot in the ass is actually from you. It's from you, but it's also from I mean that in several different ways. It's from your higher self, but it's also from the consequences of your actions in the past, the cause and effect thing, right? We cannot escape it. So if you don't know how to pivot, if you don't know how to use this particular law with some leverage to it, then, and a lot of times what sucks is you're feeling the consequence of your actions that you weren't really even conscious of making, or you weren't really conscious when you were making. Maybe you were on autopilot. Maybe you were, responding to certain stimuli in a pre-programmed way that you have learned, and you kind of just go on autopilot and all this, and then we start reaping the results of that. Every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. So we have to understand truly, and not just the causes of your actions, but also the causes of your internal world too, especially. So we got this 10 of hearts here. All right. And, obviously this comes through several different ways for me. Because I could tell that some of you are wanting to go to the next level, financially, having more freedom, having a change in status. You want to move on up like the Jeffersons, like enough is enough. Like, when is this shit going to end? And it's almost enough to want to maybe drive you insane. I'm sure there's been times where you had feelings of desperation where when you're in those lower desperate states, that's when you start getting those lower desperate ideas that can just only complicate shit or fuck you up more, get you in even more trouble, or, get you in a situation that you may not be able to get out of. So I can see the emotional, for those of you who this resonates with, around this time right now, for whatever the case is, I could see the emotional dip for a lot of you possibly listening, that the emotions are feeling very heavy. It feels like this is a valley emotional wise, right? And some of you have this ideal that you want to be, and it just seems like you cannot move into this you. All right. Now, there is another demographic that I do see where for some of you, it's not actually, it's totally the opposite. You are actually going to the other level, to another level of a relationship, to another level of the status of a relationship. Okay, so if you were just seeing each other, now maybe you guys are together. If you guys were together, now maybe there's cohabitation, talks of cohabitation. If you're cohabitating, maybe there's, a proposal or something like that. And for some, there is upward movement financially, a change in status. Anytime you have one of these especially with this crazy retrograde shit going on, you always have the demographic where shit just goes straight down the toilet to hell. And then you have those where sometimes it's like, hey, this retrograde was great to me, So there is those people, and I'm seeing you also show up here in this reading. And I can also tell that some of y'all, you've been able to get to this level or get to this place in a relationship also because of the way that you have learned to treat yourself. You've unlearned the bullshit slowly but surely, because nothing happens overnight. You can do a ritual today. Don't look for the result tomorrow or next week. Sometimes you don't get the result for a couple months, and then it'll dawn on you, this is the fruit or the consequence of your work that you did back here, And it's like, oh, shit, But if you did what you're supposed to do, then you forgot about it like you should anyways. So as far as the fact that you did a ritual, and just go back to, doing what you need to do. All right. Now, this is a very confusing time for some of you, I can see. 4 of Diamonds, reversed. All right. Besides those of you who may be experiencing money worries or feeling that your money life, your financial life is very unstable. Lots of worry. Okay, you look at the card below, that four of clubs, lots of worry. Now, I want to tell you some of you right now are in this position because you haven't done what you know to do. There is something that was placed on your heart, something that maybe you discovered. It kind of maybe it intimidated the shit out of you. More than likely it did. And you procrastinate every time it comes to working on this project, working on this opportunity, starting this business, whatever it is that is going to change the dynamic of your whole life and your finances. But if you never do it, if you never pull the trigger, then you just keep coming up to the edge and stuttering. And some of you have questioned whether, did I pick the right thing? Do I know what I want? Is this really something I'm excited and passionate about? Or, and I want to say for those of you who this is going to resonate with, yes. It's just the problem is you've been paying attention to the fears, the doubts, and all the other things that are going to rush up to the front of the stage, right along with your passion, which is normal. Okay, it's normal. Especially, when you are, a lot of people don't really talk about this, but when you are about to really step past that line and into another dimension, into another dimensional form of yourself, the older version of you, you don't think the older version of you is going to feel a certain way, because aspects of that older version know that they're not going to survive. It's over with. You are moving on, and the older you must die. And make no mistake about it, there's aspects that seem to have a life of their own of the older you, which may be the current you right now, because you're at that edge and you won't move past that line because it's just, you're paralyzed by anxiety, by fear. For some of you too, if you get where you want to be, finally have the life, that you want, you may fuck it up because you might be addicted to drama. There might be a part of you that's like, man, okay, if everything's cool, everything's sweet, like, you know, that might be kind of boring, or something. Or you might have fears or doubts or just uncomfortabilities about who you might be. Like, who am I going to be? You know in your heart, though, that you need to do this. There's something you need to do, and you know it. But I wanted to reassure you that, no, you're not picking the wrong thing. You're just listening to the wrong things. And right now, it can feel like you're trying to push a rock, a stone, up a hill. Okay? And you feel like, I thought this was supposed to be my passion. Like, you probably have even gotten down on yourself about why you haven't just why don't I just automatically want to get into this? You haven't really given yourself the chance to. What I'm seeing. And when you do sit down, it's too noisy. All the initial things that come up, the fears, like I said, the doubts, all this shit that, your body reacts to all that shit. You feel that shit in your body. Your body is not stupid. And, whether it's stimuli from the outside or stimuli coming from in between your ears, it's still stimuli. But if you can just make it past that fog, you will find that as you start working on your passion, towards your idea, whatever it is that you have that is in the queue, that is next to do, that you haven't done, or that you've been reluctant to do because of how uncomfortable you feel, because it hasn't been part of your it feels foreign to you still. It does still excite you. You can see why the fuck intellectually, but emotionally and, maybe biologically right now, there's like a traffic jam going on, a clusterfuck. But if you can just chill yourself out and just start to commit to even just, 10 minutes a day, a half hour a day, doing something, working towards your goal, you're going to find that you end up starting to go over that 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You're not going to want to stop. It's going to start. It's almost like you're going to start. It starts to energize you. You start to get excited. You start to feel alive. And you feel like you are communing with something not of this world. You start getting ideas, start getting channels, start getting visions as your around your idea, different ways that your idea can go and stuff. And it's fucking exciting. And it's enthralling. You know what I'm saying? But you won't get there if you don't get past the initial illusions that you got floating around in your head, these emotions and stuff like that. They're trying to keep you from that. All right. So another thing, some of y'all are going to, once again, if you've managed to make it this far, some of you are in a relationship with somebody. You might have thought that somebody was going to go the distance with you, or you would be going the distance with them. But I'm here to say, if it hasn't even happened yet, I do see this happening, like definitely a split, a division. And if it doesn't take full effect, then it's at least going, the tear, the rip is going to start, So when that happens, I'm here to tell you that the reason it's happening is it's time. I know it's hard for you guys, some of you guys, to hear this, but trust and believe, if the puzzle is not fitting, the piece will be removed. And vice versa. You might not be fitting their path now, or y'all have done whatever it is that y'all need to do. And now it's time you go this way and they go that way. All right. I definitely see a division, a rip, a tear. Okay. Now, some of this, I hate to say this, but some other things will be brought to the light here real soon. will be brought to the light real soon. And some of you are going to meet the incarnation of your fears as far as love goes. You might have always been walking around with this fear about this person leaving you or this person cheating on you, you know. And for some of you, the chickens are coming home to roost, you know. There's some irreconcilable differences due to what you find out, what is revealed. I suspect it's going to also be some of these infractions will be revealed in quite the flukiest way. You know, have you ever, somehow you found out some shit and the way that it happened, the sequence of events was like a weird fluke, but it's not a weird fluke because it's time. Some of you are going to need some time to yourself. And if you're not going to give it to yourself, you know, granted, I know that when some of this shit hits the fan for some of you, you're just going to run back to either some old work that you used to have or just kind of maybe settle for some seat filler. But if you're smart, you'll chill the fuck out and just be by yourself for a minute. If for a while, if needed. I think you know inside that you've needed to be by yourself for a while. Or you've needed some time to yourself. Because whatever this relationship is that I'm seeing here, this division, this infidelity, fuckery, worry about this shit. No, you're not just being paranoid. These irreconcilable differences, you know, they're all saying the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. And what used to serve you can now just be a distraction. It can now just encumber you to whereas like it's just slowing you down. It's slowing you both down. Let me just say it like that because it's not just about you. There's two people involved with this relationship. But from your perspective, let's address that. You know, now they may be on their shit. They may not be into anything and whatever. But let's talk about you. Like, it's time. It really is time. And you could ignore the lightning strikes and all of that. But it's going to happen. It's what you do with it. It's how you look at it. How you define it to yourself, really, seriously. Not the politically correct thing. Oh, well, maybe it was meant to happen. It was good. But you don't really believe that inside. None of that shit does any good. You have to come to that aha, that, oh, to yourself. But in a real, authentic, legitimate way for you. All right? And what some of you are going to learn from this break or from this tower moment, I feel like it's a tower moment. I mean, look, 6 of clubs in the corner there. You might feel like you're losing your mind and shit for a while too. You maybe need to lose your mind. Get a new one. The old one had too many viruses and shit in it. But also learning to have that relationship with yourself where you give yourself the respect, the love, the consideration, the validation, the value that you were so craving from this other person. And I can already tell you what this person did. They showed you some things. They gave you some, they gave you some validation, whatever, and then they yank it away. And when they yank it away, most likely you start freaking out. Maybe you have a little tantrum. That just goes to show like you are basically addicted to that. Addicted to external. All these different aspects you can give to yourself. And when you give to yourself these things, they're not things, but when you demonstrate these emotions to yourself, genuinely, I mean, seriously, really, like get into it. Be real with it in whatever way that is for you. Then you're going to see that you meet people that just are on your same page and they treat you this way. They demonstrate, they show you these these emotions. They show you these things. You're not going to have to campaign and fight for them like you have been. And the reason you have been is because, and this is something you were probably not aware of, because you weren't giving it to yourself. Whatever you do or don't do with yourself and within yourself, to yourself, you are going to see reflected back to you on this screen you call your reality. On this screen, you call your relationships. On this screen, you call your bank account. So, what you do and how you do it is going to be of primary importance for you. And it does start with how you define it inside yourself. When you look at the situation, when you look at whatever just happened, or whatever's happening, choose what it means for you. Choose what it means for you. Pretend that what it means for you, the definition, are like sunglasses. And you're going to put them on now. And from this moment on, you are choosing to look through these sunglasses that actually give you an advantage now. But I mean, every pair of sunglasses has its vantage points and it has its disadvantage points. And that's okay. That's normal. But it's time to rewrite the script. It really is. And in order to rewrite your script properly, a proper thing, you have to be by yourself. You need some solo time. You need as much solo time as you can get, especially right now, because this is the time to go within. All the shit really does happen within. And then the actions, those are like, I mean, they are an integral part, but the actions in and of themselves don't necessarily do anything. It needs to be a combination. Because I'm sure you know, you've taken massive action before, and like sometimes you can take massive action. It seems like nothing fucking works. And you know you're going in the wrong direction when you feel you're doing it out of a panicky state, when you're doing it out of like desperation. And no one's shaming you about that, because it's like, it's a natural tendency, because when we get in different situations or we find ourselves in different circumstances, you know, our natural tendency is to want to do something. I got to do something. And that's okay. And I'm not saying not to do something. All I'm saying is get it right inside. Then go and do your thing. And a lot of times when you do right inside, when you get it right inside, you'll be surprised how shit starts to seemingly, like, it starts to just take care of itself. And whatever actions you need to do, you'll know what you need to do exactly when you need to do it. Not a second before, not a second after. Some things you may already have an idea of, and you can take those on too, but you're not doing it from a desperate thing. You're not doing it like, you're not treating it like, you know how somebody gives you something and then it's like they act like you owe them? Well, you don't want to treat your magic like that. You don't, and I just say magic because you are magic. So whether it's an actual technical magic ritual or just you treat your actions like that, like you do one little thing and now you're looking around for the fruits. Hey, I did this. You owe me now. Where's it at? Like, just settle down in your process, man. Just enjoy the ride. You know, just enjoy the ride as much as you can, you know. And paradoxically speaking, that's when the results just kind of leap out to you, you know. So this is Sean Goray. This has been your reading, and it has been my pleasure. I really appreciate you. Join the Reverse the Curse ritual, and let's get off this wheel. All right? Let's get you off this wheel. Let's get you out of this loop, this one long-ass Groundhog Day, in whatever that area of life is that you particularly feel stuck. that you would say you particularly feel cursed in. This is the way. This is a way. It's not the only way, obviously, but it's a very powerful way to get yourself out. And you're not alone. So join that ritual, SeanWithSray.com, or the link in the description box. Take you right there. Peace.